Hello and welcome to Weekly Geek Speak. I'm Andrew.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Steve.
We are a weekly geek podcast. We talk film, TV, comics and more. And you can also subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher and Spreaker and Podcast Land. They're all a place you can find us. We also have a YouTube channel.
Oh, you'll give it its own. You give it its own
thing, because there's more to YouTube than just podcasts. Because Scott and Dan get on there and they start doing things on video, and you can listen and watch.
And you can listen to it all.
So do check out, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Twitter at Weekly Geek Speak, on Facebook Weekly Geek Speak, and the hub of all this is weeklygeekspeak.com. But now we're going to move on to the rest of the show swiftly. What's up with your face, Steve?
So I pull up face.
Okay. Yeah. How are we?
Tired, but you know, all things considered, horrible.
Mm.
No, I'm alright. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I always listen to the ABH Anywhere But Here podcast, and they always have really nice, like, oh, what have you been doing this week? We never do that.
ABH Pod?
At ABH Pod. Check them out. They're a really good podcast. And this is why. Because they just talk about life for a bit and then get into the meat and veg of the show.
Okay.
But when, I always think that ours will be just either depressing or stupid.
Yeah.
But that's generally our podcast.
Depressing and stupid.
What are we depressing?
We're not depressed.
I only point out the fact we're all mortal beings every week.
Well, it's true, we are mortal beings.
We are.
And we're going to die soon. I've gone back to skating. I'll start off. I've started skating again. That was nice. I used to play roller derby, and it's been nice to actually go back and just remember that I do have a talent, and that's going around in a circle on skates.
I wish I had a talent. I literally have no talent.
I always get frustrated because I feel like I'm a creative person trapped in a body of a non-creative person. I can't. My body can't output. You know, this is great. Like, all I have to do is blather on for an hour and a half, and then I can edit it and things. So I've obviously got some skill with editing and things, maybe, and talking, maybe. But I'm so envious of people who can create.
For me, it's more about I just don't. I can't. I have no discipline. I have no discipline whatsoever. I can't make myself do anything. I can't even make myself sleep. I literally just don't. I mean, literally, I've not slept for 28 years. It's not happened. Wow. It's not happened once.
Looking good.
Don't do it. I got rid of it. I went, what a waste of time. Got rid of that. Pooing. Don't do that. Eating.
Explain that.
That's good.
Sorry, it was the choice of word.
Pooing. Well, I don't know. I didn't want it to sound crass.
So you'll go for the 5-year-old term.
It's defecating.
Oh. It was your face. You were defecating.
Voiding one's bowels.
No. It was a facial expression.
You just do that verbally on a podcast.
Oh my god! He just
what?
I think that's what the Americans term as burn.
Snap.
I'm going to do. Doctor, 3rd-degree burns over here.
Do you have any hidden talents, Steve?
No. Genuinely, no. Not that I'm aware of.
I just do you subscribe to the theory we all have like a talent we can do almost better than anyone we know in our circle, but you may not have discovered it yet. Do you think like one day you'd pick up like a loom?
Just be able to
medieval sort of sewing.
Whoa! Yeah, where did that come from? I've just taken up climbing, and that's really good fun. And apparently, I'm quite good at that, which I didn't think I would be because I have no upper body strength. But it's about being nimble and kind of spotting routes. And I think weirdly playing years of computer games, I get there and I see the little coloured things and plot the route in my head before I go up, almost like in a game. And I've seen a couple of people who've been doing it a while. They said I've picked it up really quickly. So maybe I'm gradually finding my skill.
I always think with climbing, like in a little place with nice foamy floors, that's amazing. But even would you do it out in the countryside?
We're supposed to be doing it this week because I'm on holiday, but the weather.
But
It's weathery.
even if you're hooked up,
Yeah.
I just imagine falling to my doom. And even if you don't fall to your doom, you might swing upside down and smash your head on a rock. I don't know. Climbing, for some reason, climbing gives me a bigger fear than anything. I do it down at the climbing works. That sounds like fun, but on real rocks.
I have like a Terminator or a RoboCop-esque thing when I walk into any room, where the two things I'll do is go, right, analyse what can kill me in this room. Secondly, if I was trapped in this room forever, what would I have sex with? So you go into a bar.
In this room? just take me and Steve out of it.
Okay.
What can you have sex with? I want to know. You must have watched it. You've been in here a lot.
No.
Would you like carve a hole at the sofa? And
There's a Stanley knife.
No, what? What do you mean a Stanley knife?
Swiss Army knife.
No, that's to carve the holes in things.
And you can.
Oh, I see. No, well,
like any hunter-gatherer.
I've misspoke because I don't mean thing. I mean person.
Okay.
I mean,
what if there are no?
I don't mean I don't walk into a bar and go, oh, that glass. I walk into a bar and I go, her on that table in the far right with the hat, and then I also go, that moose head would kill me. That's what I do in every room.
Not that woman could kill me in that moose head.
Well, you know, it depends.
Carve its eye out and get in there.
Yeah.
Why would you have to carve its eyes out?
Oh.
What would I stare at? I'm very loving with my inanimate objects. No, I thought every man had it, but apparently they don't.
Yeah.
Seeing as we both went, what object?
So, like, for instance, if you're sat in a bus, do you not just weirdly like who? Like, who's the most attractive person on this bus? Do you never just do that? But do you not just find yourself weirdly doing it?
I'm more,
but not.
Just go, if someone catches my eye, oh, she's a nice looking lady.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've, since a long time ago, have I sat in a room and gone, no.
I don't grade
maybe
everyone.
6, 7,
And that's going to kill me.
I don't know. I don't know what I do.
Oh, okay.
It makes you a horrible person.
I am a horrible person.
No, I'm kidding.
That's why I can't meet anyone. You won't let me meet anyone.
Oh.
I wanted to meet APH. They weren't even there. HOM. JT Movie Podcast. That's a boy Clarence.
And which one of them do you think you would have?
Weird.
What, hit it off with?
Yeah.
I think Adam, because he's the only person I talk to where I probably wouldn't have spoken and just let him go and go and go and go. He's got such a boy.
He
has.
I like them all. I really like their podcast. If anything, was it weird? Like, were you vaguely starstruck? Like, that's a voice I've heard.
The voice thing is weird to get over.
Because when you hear a voice, you picture. Like, I bet people have done it with us.
Yeah.
Like,
how would you imagine we are envisaged
for my voices?
From our voices.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I imagine people think I'm a 7-foot Denzel Washington lookalike, and then I'm 5'11". And I bet that shocks them.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I don't know. A giant, hairy, like Robin Williams-esque. That amount of hair.
On the right.
I don't know.
You do remind me of an otter.
An otter, there you go.
A little otter.
What do you call, like, do you know, like, big gay men are bears?
Yeah.
What's, like, small gay men?
That's an otter.
Is
It's
it?
an otter. Is it?
You are an otter, then. You are an otter.
Okay. I'm an otter. There we go. You're an otter. All right.
Sorted.
Yeah. What about you?
How big do you have to be a bear?
Good question. I don't know.
Like, am I a bear?
You'd probably be... You could be a bear if you put a little bit more weight on, because you're not fat.
No, you're not.
I think you need to put some more.
But then how big do you have to be a bear? Why am I a bear?
And I'm an otter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just because I've got bigger shoulders.
I think it is. Hair. It is the bill, because Steve's quite slight. Steve's like a hairy little head on a little string body.
How do you feel about that appraisal?
It's the way he sat with the folder in his hands.
Yeah, he was really studying you as well.
And string body.
It's quite broad, but not fat. Broad.
But it just means I appeal to the masses, but have no substance.
But I always shock myself because I still have an image that I'm skinny and lanky when actually I'm quite not. I'm wide.
You're not wide.
Not wide.
This
Tall.
Do ABH podcasts do this?
Is this what happens?
Analysing them.
Start having this weird body image complex where they all weirdly like you're not bulbous.
You're not.
Your eyes aren't pink.
Your eyes aren't pink.
I was trying to think of random body stuff. You're not bleeding
Being
out of
bulbous
your
and
ears.
having pink eye.
So that's our conversation.
Yeah.
And that's why we stick to
Life's good.
traditionally geeky topic.
Tune in next time.
Otherwise you get Steve going, I'm good at climbing, in a way. And then I'm like, am I a bear?
I'm an otter. I'm a majestic elk.
Proud.
Well, why have you got a book on your knees?
I don't know. It's been there a while now.
Well, this is to kick off our open forum, I guess, if you're curious. Is I have mentioned a couple of times the Wallyford file, the file, the world we built, me and my sister, as a child, outside of the Bumpy Goose world. This is
It's
in
called
itself,
Wallyford.
The Wallyford.
You have, yeah.
It's a district in the world, a little village.
In England.
Yeah, I think so. And this is all like the we created adverts, movie posters. We created a map, and in here is for you to enjoy is the Wallyford file.
Oh my god!
Wow.
The sheer level of feeling you need to give this life.
It's amazing.
Wow!
So here's the map.
Oh.
Oh wow.
So this is where the entire Bumpy Goose universe.
So Andrew's now unfolding.
Well,
a
the
triple.
Bumpy Goose is kind of linked to it, but not properly. So this is Martindale, the main village.
Martindale.
Wow.
And there's all the little places in Wickle Canal docking place. Imagine what you can do there.
It's quite an impressive, like, it looks like a proper weird road
It does.
map.
It's like 12 sheets of A4 all stuck together, and it's
Quite literally, yeah.
intricately
Down here we've
detailed.
got Flippy Hamlet.
Flippy
Got Noggins on the Sea and Noggins Golf Course.
Flippy Hamlet sounds like the inevitable, like, Shakespeare adaptation app involving birds that I have to press periodically.
You'll like this one. Zappa DOS electricity power plant.
Oh,
So there's Pokemon references in there.
Nice.
I used to draw maps all the time, but mine were always like I'd create an island that had every geographical feature imaginable,
Right.
and then put an X at a random point of it, and
good
then
treasure
do a
Yeah,
little key.
and then do a
stuff.
little, yeah.
But this is proper. This looks
intricate,
like
very
you've
like
tried to recreate the A to Z.
We've got a throwback character, Jacobibum's railway station.
There
you go.
Simon Jacobibum.
That is the first Bumpy Goose
Yeah.
reference.
There's an earwax gnome reserve.
Which is, you know, it's about time we give them some space because they're dying out.
So yeah, and
Miggle.
you can have a proper look at that later. But what we'll do is have a look at a few more things from the file and just see what we can.
That's
I
as,
like-
as serious and like most effort
Yeah.
I feel like you put into any of the Bumpy Goose.
Grounds it in reality. Oh.
It doesn't ground it in reality.
There are news reports that are half written as well. So if you want to read that one, featuring an image of myself.
We'll tweet a picture of this. Oh, young Andrew.
It's the face.
It is the face. This is a newspaper entitled The Daily Yesterday.
Which is a good name.
It is.
For a paper.
Yeah.
I think we've done this. But
Copyright.
it's true. Because it is stuff that happened yesterday.
I like it. 5p. It was written on a Wednesday.
That's reasonable.
The cool paper containing news and pictures.
It's just no BS.
No.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's it's cold.
Yeah.
It's paper. It's got news in it.
Man loses shoe down drain. Reported on by Mr. Anon.
Are you sure it's not a sewer slot?
It's a drain this time.
Yesterday, Gregory Shoemaker, 50, lost his shoe down a drain in Martindale.
How horribly ironic.
He was surprised when he had to hop home and fetch a spade to dig it out.
He was surprised. The way that's phrased is, he was only the
only
surprise
surprised
only kicked in as he started hopping. He was surprised that somehow he found himself hopping home.
By the time he got back to the drain, the shoe had floated downstream to Riney Rain's sewage farm. He then says, I contacted Ms. Robinson because she is in charge of the farm and I told her to get my shoe back. But she didn't.
Bitch.
What a bitch. Mr. Shoemaker then had to go to the cool shoe shop to buy a new shoe. I felt very angry because I had to spend my pocket money, continued Mr. Shoemaker. And there's a picture of Andrew, Mr. Shoemaker, before he lost his shoe. Good grief, what did he look like after he lost his shoe?
It was harrowing.
And there's a... Oh.
What's that say at the bottom? What does that say at the bottom?
I wanted to read it as well.
It's an advert for the Wing Wang Woo factory, which makes medicine. Wing Wang Woo presents the all-new purple stomach acid. Cool. To cure all your tummy pains. Buy now, only at the Wing Wang Woo factory shop. Which nicely links on to the mall. And it's the last one I'll do today, because we might revisit it. This is the Mall map. And I just want Scott to run through the shop names. Now, the food shop's on the front, and then the normal shops are on the back. So just run through them.
The Mall map. So it's a bit like Meadowhall.
Yeah, you look like a mall. It's a map you might pick up to find where
and you've numbered all the blocks, and you Barry Bartholomew's Beer Bar.
Oh, I like the alliteration on that, yeah.
Margus Mushroom Pate, which sounds more like a dish. Fondant Fish Feet. Someone explain that to me. Fish,
what?
Don't traditionally have feet, do they? Billy's Big Restaurant of Invisible Food. It is what it is.
Cracking business plan.
Yeah.
Schmarry sausages.
Say that again.
Schmarry sausages.
Schmarry.
Roast winkles.
Nice.
DIY pork chops. What do you do?
What?
Give him a pig.
Chop off what you want. Oh, God.
Crackers about crackers. That's a good one. Oh, I'll meet you back at Roast Winkles. I've just got to go to a shop. Where are you going? Oh, rubbish potatoes. Your family's coming over on Sunday. I thought I'd pick up some rubbish potatoes. Sweets.
Sweets. Okay.
That's just like
that's just a food court.
Okay. Oh God.
Willie's Woolly Warmers.
Right.
Willie's Woolly Warmers, not Woolly's Willy Warmers.
Nails and socks.
Nails and socks.
Now, like any man, I don't know where my nails or socks come from, so I'm glad there's a store that caters. Bath stuff for me, not you. You're not allowed to. No re-gifting.
No gifting.
No. They don't wrap it up for you. If you ask.
This is for you. No, right.
Peter's Pet Shop.
Alright.
I like just the odd you thought something was going to happen there.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's just a pet shop. Every so often you throw us that curveball like McDonald's. So that isn't. Quick Quack Duck Food, which I think's fantastic.
That needs to exist in real world.
Quick Quack Duck, because I'm always running out of duck food.
Yeah, Quick Quack.
8-hour photos. Reasonable.
Yeah.
Technology's come a long way.
Overnight. No, 8 hours. Yeah.
DIY dishes.
What?
For your DIY pork chop.
Again, they give you a lump of clay and a pig, and then you make your own pork chop, put it on the plate.
Wow.
Bruising Beauty.
What happens there?
You beat up some
Turn up and get
models.
punched in the face. Next.
Eyeshadow.
Oh God.
Raggy clothes.
Raggy clothes.
Raggy clothes.
Raggy clothes.
Window wipers.
Just what you need.
You know, yeah.
Perfect.
Specialism.
Perfect pants.
Perfect pants.
And then a bit of wish fulfillment. Trekkie shop.
Want to trek out?
News today. Brackets. Not.
What? I don't even.
TikTok clocks. Number 21. Tramps of a trumpet. Now, what's that do then? So if I go in there with a tenor, what happens?
I don't know. You get serenaded by a tramp with a trumpet, picking his bum and blowing out a tune.
Dried camel poo collectors.
Oh, okay. It's a niche, man. It's very niche.
Now, I'm going to say this,
All right.
and then I'm going to spell it for you.
All right.
Learn to spell classes.
Right.
LERN.
Yeah.
TWO SPAL KLASAS.
He was before his time.
I
Text
think
speak.
I think that's good. Do not use power tools.
Do not use power tools.
And what do they sell?
Power tools.
That you're not allowed to use. You have to keep them in the trophy cabinet.
Maybe it's normal tools. Like they're trying to say, don't use power tools, use your own.
Buy a hammer.
Yeah.
Wing Wang Woo!
Wing Wang Woo!
We saw their advertisement.
We did.
The #1 rat shop.
The number.
Except no substitutes.
I'm there.
Nerd's computer game shop.
Yes.
And its rival, the Geek's computer game shop.
Which
next
one would you
door.
go to? I
don't know.
It's tough now.
Obviously we're weekly geeks.
Yeah, we'd have to.
We never thought about like Wordy Nerd.
Wordy Nerd chat.
Wordy Nerd heard.
You like a Wordy Nerd
heard. That could be what we call our weekly geekers.
The Wordy Nerd Herd.
Wordly Nerd Herd.
The Wordly Nerd Herd.
This is how beauty.
There's a new section. The Wordly Nerd Herders have spoken.
Flowers for me.
Okay. Not you.
34 damaged doors.
34 damaged doors.
I love the idea that like the door going in's damaged, so you can't actually get in.
Yeah.
The doctors.
Okay.
Poodle Pamper Pot. Nosy Neighbours Device Shop.
Nice.
The Big Bad Bookshop.
Are the books bad or is it
the Big Amber? The Big
going
Amber. Earring shop for dogs and lizards. But it's very strategically well placed because it's next to the lizard shop.
Oh, the lizard shop.
Lizard.
It's from Bumper Youth.
Yeah.
Which is next to the Andrew Marr toy shop. That's full of Andrew Marr figures.
Yeah. And these novels as well.
Maudie People's Complaints. Do they just let you complain to them for like a therapist?
It puts complaints off. Like you go, I want to complain, but I don't want to be a Mardy person.
Yeah.
So you go down there
and Poopo's popcorn.
Poopo's
Poopo's popcorn, especially nothing but popcorn. That's just the shops.
That's
so there you go. That's a little glimpse into the world.
That's amazing.
I can't wait.
We have wasted half an hour of our time waffling on about complete rubbish, but that was a glance into my past and our lives.
It makes a change from me going. I'm looking forward to Batman. I want Marvel good. In fact, can I tell wrestling?
Wrestling?
Never get to talk.
Don't spoil it.
No, tarnish this.
We talked about literally everything.
Tarnish this moment.
So I think now we're on episode 98. We're allowed to be indulgent on that one.
Yeah.
So,
we're 100
soon.
What do we do? What happens?
We do.
I don't know. We have to be like all mature.
Well, the
tweet in.
The Queen should tweet us.
She should. 100th episode. Yeah.
Campaign. Let's get a campaign going.
What Queen would you most like to?
Elton John.
Queen of Hearts.
Alien Queen.
Would I most like to what, sorry?
Tweet into us.
Queen of Hearts.
Just want to make sure I knew the full question.
Yeah.
Latifah.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
She's probably got more followers.
Yeah. She can tweet us.
She can tweet in.
Yeah. She can. We give you permission. So I don't know. I don't know whether we should put something else more relevant to Weekly Geek Speak in this intro.
Really quickly. Name an alien.
Name an alien.
I said quickly.
Jeff. Hello, so I'm Steve.
And I'm Dan.
And we're here at the 7th Yorkshire Cosplay Con at Magna in Sheffield. We managed to get in.
Yep, and I've managed to escape the Weekly Geek Speak gaming room and made our way to Magna, where we queued and
for seemingly
fought our way through hordes of orcs and other such excitement.
Elsas from Frozen.
Yes.
Jokers. We've made it. We've made it. We're alive. And we're currently stood next to a giant bumblebee. Not an actual bumblebee. Bumblebee the Transformer. So yeah, we're off to wander around with a microphone and get some little snippets.
Snippets indeed.
Yay.
Right, well this is General Zod, your ruler. And you can find me on Twitter under Aaron Lewis Bryce. That's my nickname, by the way. And by the way, for those people out there, do not vote Labour, Conservative or UKIP, because they're all imbeciles. Vote only Zod, because your vote is irrelevant.
So how are you finding today?
Really good. It's been very, very busy. It's been great fun, and a lot of photographs, and made a lot of new friends.
Cool. Is it the first one you've done?
No, this is the fourth one I've done now, as General Zod, and it's great fun. I made a lot of friends out of it. Well, this is the biggest one I've been to, and probably the busiest one as well. I'm going to be doing a movie con later on in this year, and they're doing a live Superman show, and it's going to be in Bolton, and I'm going to be on stage as General Zod, and it's going to be about a 25-minute long show. So I'm going to have like all the music, sound effects, and all that, and it's going to be a proper stage show. So it's on the 8th of November.
Hi, I'm Connor Jackson, and I've come dressed as Thor.
Fantastic. What made you choose Thor?
He's one of my favourite superheroes, to be honest, and I love Norse mythology, so it seemed like the perfect choice.
Are you looking forward to the new Avengers?
Oh yes, I'm really looking forward. I'm going to one of the first screenings dressed up.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of friends. We're gonna go dressed up.
My name's Ross, and I've come as Star-Lord.
My name's Charlotte, and I've come as Captain America.
So is this your first time cosplaying? Is it something you're new to?
Yeah, this is first time for both of us, really. Yeah.
How are you finding today?
Love it, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't believe how busy it is.
No, it's brilliant. I love it.
Have you seen a particular cosplay that stood out to you at all?
Oh, there's loads. There's so many, yeah.
I want to find Loki. I want to find Loki.
I'm James Brown, and I'm dressed as the Riddler from the Batman series.
Is the Riddler your favourite Batman villain?
Yeah, he's one of my favourite characters. Like not often represented in too much of the Batman like the shows anymore. So yeah, I've got an interest in the Riddler. Yeah.
What did you think in Batman and Robin?
Well, the film itself, it's got that reputation as not one of the best, but Jim Carrey, that spandex suit, yeah, it pretty good Riddle, like a crazy like adaptation of it. Yeah, really good.
And how have you found the day so far?
I'm surprised how many people are here. Actually, very large turnout. Tons of cool costumes. Like so many characters. Like there's loads out that I don't even know what they are, and then there's loads familiar characters like Deathstroke and yeah, it's awesome.
Have you seen a favourite?
Yes, there was an awesome Judge Dredd guy in a suit. He had the massive machine gun as well.
So I'm Charlotte, or Nola, and me and my friend today have come dressed in Lolita, which is a Japanese fashion. And I've only really just started. This is my second time wearing it, but my friend's worn it quite a lot, so she's helped me and kind of brought me to these events where I can wear Lolita. Yeah, you've dragged me to events. Like dress up. So yeah, it's been nice to wear it and then see other people wearing it too.
Yeah, my name's Hannah. I've been coming to conventions for like 5 years. So I usually do the cosplay side of it, but we're just sort of chilling and doing Lolita today. So.
What is it that drove you to pick the particular character you picked?
Well, we just like different kind of fashion anyway and stuff. So like Lolita is something that I've always been interested in. So yeah.
You got roped in.
Yeah, I got roped into it because I've always liked it. I never really had the confidence. So
you can't wear like crazy frills by yourself. So. You got to get someone else involved.
Yeah, we look good as a pair, so it's good.
How are you finding the day today?
It was quite busy at first, but it's been
very busy.
Yeah, it's been like quite nice to see, like I say, other people in like Lolita and the different like cosplayers, because I think in Yorkshire you don't really see that much. So it's surprising when you come to events like this and then you see, oh, everyone else does it as well. So yeah,
I think it's nice seeing more like local traders as well. Like if you go to the bigger stuff like MCM, you're getting like lots of the sort of brands that are trading. But it's nice seeing like the little indie stuff. That's quite nice.
My name is Jim, and I run Patriot Games in Sheffield.
And how have you found the day so far?
It's been very busy actually, but once everybody got in and got around, we started to get a flood of people in. We've been running demos of games and participation games all day, pretty much non-stop. So,
how do you find the demos go down?
They vary, obviously, because some people already are familiar with games as a concept and they're interested to learn something new, and some people have never played games before. So sometimes it's a bit like teaching someone something for the first time, and other times it's joining in and having some fun with them ourselves. So it's a nice mixture, and it helps the day pass really quickly.
And do you find that people usually learn the rules quite quickly because of the background? They know some games.
We tend to try and bring a range of games that cover like the simplest game ever, which is like Love Letter, which has only 16 cards in it, and like draw a card, discard a card. That's all the rules, pretty much, right down to a complicated game. And so we can find out what their level is, and then point them at a game and show them through it and see how they get on.
And what are your top sellers?
Well, we sell a lot of CCGs, a lot of collectible card games. Obviously, games like Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! Are very popular, so they sit up there on the top sellers. We champion a game called Legend of the Five Rings, which is a fantasy samurai-based card game. It also has a role-play game attached to it, and so we sell a lot of that because that's my favourite game, so I tend to push it a lot. Board games have had a big resurgence just lately. There's a lot more people playing board games, a lot of families getting into board games. So I think our best-selling board game of the last year has been a game called Pandemic, where you have to cooperate together to stop the world succumbing to a mass of different diseases. But there's been such a growth in the last, say, 2 years. Whereas board games used to be only a small part of our business, it's much more involved now, which is good because it means I get to play more board games. It's good.
Fantastic. And how have you found this one compared to other Comic-Cons?
This one is different, I think, because of the way it's set out. So from our point of view, running demos, it's nicer because we're segmented from the mass noise of the main room. I can imagine people who've not been to this one before would find it a bit strange, but I think it's nice if they're not all carbon copies of each other. When you go to different conventions, you want, oh yeah, that's the one with this and that's the one with that. So I like this convention. We've been coming for a few years and it's always been fun. People have been really into it, even though it's a kind of a more indie convention.
Cool. Well, thank you kindly for your time. Are you at any more cons in the next few weeks that we can find you at, and whereabouts do we find out more about Patriot?
We'll be at this next one that they're doing this year of Yorkshire Cosmecon, but we are on Ladies Bridge in Sheffield. We run gaming sessions most evenings, so if you want to come down and join in, or just come down and learn how to play something, look us up.
Fantastic. And do you have a website or a Twitter or a Facebook?
We do. We have all of those things. Our website is www.patriotgames.ltd.uk. Our Facebook is Patriot Games, and our Twitter is surprisingly at Patriot Games Limited.
Fantastic. Thank you kindly. Cheers for your time. Today is my top 5 Stephen King movies. This comes about
director.
Because I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and we were lucky enough to get a preview copy of a film called A Good Marriage. Stephen King's A Good Marriage, out on the 20th of April on DVD and streaming services. So the film basically celebrating 25 years of marriage. Darcy is happy with her family. Meanwhile, a serial killer stalks girls and a mysterious stranger stalks the family when she discovers her husband's shocking secret. Okay, so Stephen King doesn't direct many of his films. He's only done it once, and he wrote this one himself. Obviously he writes a lot of books, and his books are incredibly big and incredibly chunky. So him doing this, nice idea. Give it a go. Step up to the plate and adapt your own book into a film. So yeah, they mentioned the title in the first few minutes. I know we mentioned that last week. The first couple of minutes she goes, hey, this is A Good Marriage. Oh,
really?
Nice.
Wink, nod,
Tick
nod.
a box.
Who's she saying that to?
They're just this conversation, but she makes the point.
Who says that?
Yeah. Let's say the character study was good, cinematography was really good. Wasn't keen on the ending, but there's a blog on the website if you want to check out a bit more about what we thought.
Cool.
Freya at Run Roller Run said Stephen King-drome problems. 4.5 out of 10, and yeah, it suffers that sort of Stephen King-esque. It's not quite. Stephen Chase.
What is
the Stephen King thing? So Stephen King knows how to write a really good story, but quite often his endings are a bit sort of bizarre. He sort of leads you one way, does all these lovely twists and turns, and he gets to the end and go, oh, what? And there's a couple of his books that really leave you going, what? I've just read all of that. What?
You don't get
and you don't go away thinking, oh, okay, maybe there's more to it. No, it's just, oh, it's like he couldn't end it. Oh.
He twisted his way into a corner.
Yeah, and this felt like it was leading us somewhere, and yeah, but Stephen Chase at heathen_specs said King Thinking Man, 5 out of 10. And mine would be bullet point story. So that leads me into my top 5. I basically went through all the books, all the films, narrowed them down, and skipped to the end. I got to these. So number 5 is The Shining, released in 1980, based on the novel 1977 of the same name. A family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter, where an evil and spirited presence begins to influence the father. Starring Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, directed by Stanley Kubrick. A really, really interesting film and a really powerful film. The iconography in it, the Stanley Kubrick's direction. I mean, you can see the pattern on that carpet, and you instantly recognise it. The lift scene with the blood, the twins. There's a lot of reference in there that's been used in other films, and it's just a very strong. I've heard that it's not as good as the book. Sadly, I haven't read the book, and I know that Stephen King wasn't very happy with the film adaptation and went on to make his own made-for-TV version, which apparently people do say is better, but the die-hard fans of the movie just sort of, it's So that's number 5.
You've that's probably as beautifully eloquent as I think I've ever witnessed you. I'm surprised you put it 5th, because it's probably my favourite. I have not read it either, but I love Stanley Kubrick's film. It's so iconic, it's powerful imagery, classic scene, unnerving, great performance by Jack Nicholson. I hate Shelley Duvall every time I watch it.
Yeah, she plays.
You're like, I'm not surprised you're so annoyed.
Yeah, I'm like, kill her! Please get through that door, quicker!
What's the opening scene in the car when he's just getting really?
He's already pissed off at her. It's like
it's when she's swinging that bag and she's so pathetic and it's insulting. I find it insulting. Like you've got the power. You're holding a weapon. Hit him. Stop being so snivelling. Anyway, but
I think there's some great. I love the scene in the kind of climax in the maze. The hotel is thoroughly creepy without trying to be.
Yes,
the sounds and things and hearing voices and things, it comes across really well. You can tell the effort that's been put in. You can tell the fear in Shelley Duvall as well, because Stanley Kubrick, by all accounts, was horrible to her in that film. He was really her over everyone else. He was cruel to, because he wanted her to be scared. He wanted her to be on edge. He wanted her to be alone. He wanted her everything. So he was, and he has said in interviews since that he does feel bad for what he did, but he got the good performance out of her. The little boy,
which is not true.
the little boy, though, he didn't know he was making a horror film for the whole thing. He thought it was in a drama, which is a good way to approach it, I think. And obviously, you hadn't even mentioned the red rum, which is a great reference as well.
Red rum, and obviously, here's Johnny.
Mentioned, but so many. It's
all work and no play.
Mixed jacket, old boy.
Could go on and on and on.
And Hong Kong Phooey,
#1 super guy.
So I think that's a really good. It needed to be in there.
When Scatman Crothers turns up though, just to die, it always makes me laugh.
Yeah, but
every
like
single
that
time
well,
I laugh about.
Right, he's here. It's okay. Little Danny's fine.
Yeah.
And it turns out Danny manages to save himself, but because he's a little clever dick. Is that the word?
I like his weird ability is just to warn that man to travel all that way to just die. Immediately.
It makes me wonder if that element in there is the Stephen King element, because that's the kind of thing he likes to do.
I imagine it's played on more. I can only imagine.
Yeah, cool. So that's
my number 5.
Where will it go?
At number 4, Carrie, the 1976 movie, based on the book of the same name again, 1974. It was the first Stephen King novel adaptation that they'd done, and I think one of the strongest. I know I've put it at number 4, but you'll see as I go along the reason why. But so Brian De Palma directed, Sissy Spacek as Carrie, and Piper Lane as the mom. A young 17-year-old girl discovers she has telekinesis and gets pushed to her limit at the school prom. I just think, again, Stephen King has a real way with words in his book. I think that's why I love reading his books, because they create the imagery he creates in your head. I think is difficult to adapt a book, because obviously if all three of us read a book, we'd have a different vision. So it's when you see a film, you kind of think, I wouldn't have done that, and that's the beauty of turning books into films.
The big one for me on that very point is Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter the film ruined Harry Potter the books for me. I had my own image. I read the first 5 books, and I really enjoyed Harry Potter. I would do what all the little weirdy kids did and read it, And then I watched the first Harry Potter film and I hated it. It was like watching Grange Hill. And then when I picked up the next book, I couldn't get into it because I could see little Radcliffe's face. And it did. It pissed on my parade. And I've not finished the Harry Potter books because of those films. I only know through absorbing from other people what happens in them. And I think that is to a degree a shame. I also think it was to do with my age, and I was reaching an age where books are stupid because I was about 15 by the time that was coming around, I think. But yeah, I agree. Books, and it's an odd one because it seems to split people.
Yeah, but Sissy Spacek as the gawky 15-year-old Carrie from that opening scene in the shower when they're all bullying her and throwing the tampons at her. There's so many plug it up. There's so many iconic scenes, and the scene where she realises she's got telekinesis and she's been controlled by this horrible mom, Piper Lane, who plays this terrifying religious woman that she has to go back home to, and she's leading this double life. And
they're all going to laugh at you.
They're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you. And you're all going to laugh
it just goes on forever.
Yeah, it does. And
you're on a rave.
You're there with her, and I think that's the beauty of it. No matter whether you've read the book and the character she plays, you're on her side. You're thinking these people are being dicks, and the final scene, the fact that they use real pig's blood and stuff, and it's just incredible. I just think
my big issue with the remake was the fact that Chloe Moretz isn't a girl who'll get bullied. I don't buy it, but Sissy Spacek really is. Slightly weird, slightly odd, reclusive, you can tell. And her mum is just so controlling, terrifying. You're not surprised that she's the way she is.
Well, that's why it's a brilliant story, because it's like she's constantly sort of oppressed, and she's really repressed because she's got this really domineering mother, and all these like religious and cultural and societal factors pushing her down and down and down, and then she's got this gift and innate ability and this strength inside her and rage that eventually manifests in a horrible bloody so it's I mean I know we bandy the word about, but it almost always applies when we use it. There's nothing more iconic than her in blood, drenched in blood in a prom dress. That image alone, that one image, has made it be missold for about 30 or 40 years as like a horror film, which it isn't.
No, it's really not.
It's never been.
It's a drama with horror elements, I would guess. From the final what happens is quite horrible.
It kind of sums up Stephen King. Apparently it's a really good adaptation of the book as well. Again, I haven't read that unfortunately, but it's a really it sticks quite close. I think because it's the first one, they did things kind of properly.
It's really good. It's one of my favourite De Palma.
Good shout.
Yeah. Moving on, number 3. You might go, oh, number 3. But Running Man, 1987, which is loosely based on the book of the same name from 1982, which was written by Richard Bachman, which is Stephen King's pen name. Apparently it's loosely based, as in they've taken a few elements and
did not know this.
Made it their own, rather than, and it deviates quite a lot.
But then again, The Shining.
Yeah, The Shining does.
But
as well.
Now I know this. Why isn't it number 1? Because it's got Jesse the Body Ventura in it. I mean, is there another argument you're waiting for?
Well, I mean, Christmas tree. But yeah, Running Man, the futuristic vision in which criminals fight in a televised gladiator fight or game show, and it sort of predated the whole Hunger Games and Battle Royale and all that kind of thing. And you've got Arnie, let's say, you've got Buzzsaw, Sub-Zero, Fireball, Dynamo, Captain Freedom.
Yeah. I still think it's weirdly prophetic. I am convinced it'll be 2 years till on Saturday night Ant and Dec present Let's Colour Paedophile or something. We're getting I just feel like it's going. I love Running Man.
Yeah.
It's one I hadn't seen for years, and I only saw it about 3 or 4 years back, and it's great.
It's one of the most unapologetically stupid, incredibly watchable Arnie films, which is high praise.
But much like Verhoeven's films, it's got a lot behind it as well. It's got a lot to say, and it does it while having fun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they like Dynamo. Hey, Christmas tree. That's just
Christmas tree.
Brilliant. And then Fireball with the but great film, and again, iconic moments, characters we can sit in, we're throwing quotes out, remembering moments from these films, and I think again that shows Stephen King's writing.
I always remember the tagline on the DVD that went, "A game no one's ever won, Schwarzenegger's yet to play," and that really amused me because they didn't even use his character name.
Schwarzenegger.
They made out like it was almost like a documentary where Schwarzenegger would turn up.
Come and watch this. Yeah. And he's gonna. Yeah.
It just amused me.
Nice. So that was my number 3. Moving on to number 2. It, the 1990 TV miniseries.
Yeah, but what are you referring to?
It.
Yeah, but can you be more specific?
I'll read on.
Say the name.
Sorry, It, based on the 1986 book of the same name. Now, this one is one that I have read, and I'd read first.
Does that ruin it or help
no? This is why. Well, it's number 2, but this is why. The book is incredible, and the book again, Stephen King, chunky books, tiny print that you sort of have to thumb through with a magnifying glass at times. Some of them, and it goes into a lot of character depth that obviously they couldn't cover in the film, but the film's still split into 2 films. It's still like six odd hours, and a lot of people, it's widely renowned that a lot of people think the first half is stronger than the second half, and that's purely because they changed the ending of the book, because the detail they go into in the book, it's a bit touchy, and you kind of almost couldn't take that angle in the film. There's a turning point in the book that's would be, you couldn't do it in a film basically.
But I find it scarier just because of the kids.
Yeah,
I think it's as simple as that.
that's it. And Tim Curry, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
think of a clown, Tim Curry as It. We mentioned it earlier when we said Storm Drains, we thought of It, and it's like you've got that iconic red balloon in that beep Richie, just that looming presence of Tim Curry, and it's great.
What's it called? It's Pennywise.
Pennywise, yeah. But yeah.
So can I be the WGS pedant here?
Yeah, go.
And put you on the spot
Because this was the top
miniseries
5 TV.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you now
Go on.
to put in one of your backups there, because I'm not going to allow that.
It wasn't a theatrical release. It was
And you
a
said
TV
movies.
miniseries that's been compiled into a film format for DVD purposes.
But good shout. Enjoy talking about it.
Oh, it's a great film.
But in that case, I'll bring the one that I was gonna bring as the
So
winner.
this is the new 5th place.
Yeah. Well, kind of. Needful Things.
The slot filler.
The slot filler.
The
There we
slot
go.
filler.
This is the slot filler. Yeah, Needful Things. Again,
That's what I call my
fantastic
thing.
book.
What?
What?
What? Keep talking.
Fantastic book. Again, all Stephen King's stuff is set in Castle Rock in Maine. It's all in this massive shared universe, which again I love because he never mentions there's certain little nods to this huge town. Like we've just discussed with the Bumpy Goose universe, Stephen King creates this world in Maine, and you think, Christ, if all this stuff happened,
Organs in
why
Maine.
would you move there? But yeah, so this shop
think that
opens
about
up.
EastEnders.
Yeah,
Walford has a murder rate of like 800 million% compared to the rest of the world.
and still happy little family.
They have a
come in.
murderer every year, at least one, if not 7.
Now the kids are murdering.
I mean, but people go, oh, that looks nice, next to the cheap calf
I'll
and
have
the
some
pub.
of that.
I'll move in.
I never learn.
Yeah.
I think like that as well. I'm
It's
glad
weird,
you brought
isn't
that
it?
up.
No, it's
Keep
weird.
going.
It's weird. But yeah, Needful Things. So they open this shop, this curio shop opens up in town, and all the residents start to go there. And it's weird because they go in and they kind of find the thing they've been looking for all their life, and they get this item that they, oh my god, this is what I've always wanted, and it fulfills all their dreams, and they each get different things, and we find out the bloke is this manipulative dating sort of demon creature. But the book is incredible because again it goes into so much detail and character backstory and things, and they basically took the idea up to a point and then went, here's a film, and it took out all the bits I remember from the book and went, we don't need those. They're the standout powerful bits from the book, and it went, oh, we'll make a film and we'll call it Needful Things, and it'll still be 3 hours, but we'll cut out all the good stuff and leave in the crap stuff. And that was a real shame, so that's one I wanted to mention as a...
So that's your slot filler.
It's a shame, yeah. That's my slot
So
filler.
let's reveal it.
So number 1, and you probably would have guessed this, but it's Stand By Me, 1986, which is
So
based
no Misery?
on the novella The Body short story.
So
from
for your
1982.
slot filler, there were no Misery, no Green Mile.
Not seen Misery or Green Mile.
Really?
I was going to bring it up. Yeah.
Shawshank.
Seen Shawshank, but Shawshank was a struggle.
You wouldn't have put that in your slot filler?
I toyed with
Even
Shawshank.
when you had a slot filler that you did not know what to put in?
No, I toyed with Shawshank, but I wanted to bring up something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, Shawshank
Sure,
often goes down as one of the best films ever made.
People do. I've read a lot about it, and people do, and I haven't seen it for years. And I remember really enjoying it, and it's great. I've not gone back to it, but like you say, a lot of people, and when I was reading through doing the research and stuff, a lot of people, it does just say often withheld as one of the greatest films, and it's like, okay, I'd need to rewatch it, because I remember it being good, but if it's held this high up in the public's estimation and people's estimation, then I don't want to go in and say, yeah, it's in my top 5, because I haven't seen it for years, and I've seen all of these over the last
I think with Shawshank, like, I've never met anyone who's their favourite film, but I've never met anyone who's ever said it's less than good. So do you think it's
really
just
good?
Do you think it's just like it's that highly consistent? Everyone kind of resigns themselves to going, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So like weird
so.
consensus makes out like because no one hates it, it's too high.
It's just there.
But no one, it's no one's favourite film at the same time.
Similar to The Green Mile, but I haven't seen it. Everyone says, oh my god, The Green Mile, I haven't seen The Green Mile. It's up there, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I should get around to it, but I think it does have that sort of status. So yeah, but
so let's talk about
number one is Stand By Me, like I say, based on the short story novella The Body. I think it's only about 15 pages. It's a really short little story. It's a coming-of-age tale of 4 friends who track down a missing friend presumed dead. It's a really touching film. It's got River Phoenix, Will Wheaton, Corey Feldman, Kiefer Sutherland, and follows Gordy, Chris, Teddy and Vern on their adventures when they hear the story. There may or may not be a dead body on the train tracks, and I love it. I love the songs. I love the soundtrack. Me and my friend used to quote it all the time. And again, I watched it at the right age, and it really resonated with me because I was out with my friends who go out on bikes. We go on adventures, and here's this film of these kids going on an adventure. They don't know what they're going to find. There's all this cool stuff happening along the way, and it's similar to why I like Goonies and that kind of thing. I watched them, and that you could kind of see bits of your childhood in it. So I think Stand By Me has to be.
I think
because it's in my top 3.
This is something a lot of people consider Stephen King to be a great horror, but actually he's a great relationship writer as well, and I think that comes across in The Green Mile, that comes across in Stand By Me, the film, and Shawshank Redemption, and Carrie with the relationships and things. It's about relationships and interaction, and he captures the fun of this. And there's something about Stephen King films. Yeah, I recognise the problems that he can have finishing a story and so forth, but he just seems to be able to really capture friendship and family and things really well, and that's why I like him. Stand By Me is a fantastic film. You really are there with the boys. It's hard to do that sometimes in a film, to try and really get you pulled in there. I mean, Super 8 was very good, but I never felt that connected with the friendship group. Whereas this, we're there with them, and every time I watch them, I'm there with them. And there's great little asides, like the story about the man eating pie and things, which is fantastic. And the little great scenes with running across the bridge and the leeches and things. It's just. That for me is a feel-good movie, even though it's about finding a body and there's a bit of a sad ending on it. You're just comforting. It's kind of comfort-eating.
And you really don't like Kiefer Sutherland when he rocks up and he's like stealing their hat and bullying them, and you're just like, oh, it's just really well characterised. And I think what you said as well, the good marriage, like I said at the very beginning, you can tell the book's probably a really strong story, but Stephen King adapting it himself has lost all the elements of he's got the elements of character study that he does really, really well, but he hasn't strung it together to make a sort of narrative that fits a film, and it just didn't quite work. But what he did well, he did well. But
it's really refreshing to see Steve really like impassioned during a conversation. Do you go through the motions rest of the time? Is this you?
I don't know.
What else do you like?
Tune into my next topic.
I just think you've this is genuinely the best 25-minute streak you've had on this show.
Thank you.
I've been a bit in awe of you.
Thank you.
Can we run through those dishonourable mentions quickly then?
The dishonourable mentions, I had, so I wanted to point out, Needful Things was, I've mentioned. Gerald's Game, which is one of my favourite books, about a couple that go on a honeymoon to a cabin in the woods, and they start daring each other and doing little games, and she ends up chained to the bed. And it all gets a bit weird. But again, it's down to the description. It's a huge book, and they are adapting it into a film in 2015. I'm going to reread the book in the next couple of months before the hype starts, and it's Stephen King's doing a film. I want to reread it and refresh myself. And I thought the honourable mention would go to, again, it's a TV series, but I wanted to bring it up, Kingdom Hospital. which is about a hospital built on a Civil War era mill, which killed lots of children in a fire. So there's just lots of really fucked up things happening, and it's based on the Lars von Trier series of the same name, but Stephen King sort of took it and remade it. And there's a bit in the first episode where it's not a spoiler, it's literally the opening bit where the guy gets knocked off his bike and ends up in the hospital, and that's actually based on something that happened to Stephen King. He got knocked off his bike and was in hospital for ages and had all these fucked up visions, and wrote a book from all these characters and visions that he'd had. So he's thrown a bit of himself into Kingdom Hospital, and you can see, it's just really nice. And there's a ghost girl with a pet anteater, and it's just fucking weird, but it's brilliant, and it's something again I haven't seen.
Alive?
I don't know. I just remember she's got an
does she
anteater.
feed it?
It's called Antipus.
Antipus.
Yeah, which is a great name.
That's,
But
that's what they used to call me in school.
I'd like to.
So yeah, that was my Stephen King.
There was some great run of them in the 90s, which were cheesy horrors, and I like the 90s kind of cheesy horrors. Especially, I think there's Thinner.
Yes.
Which isn't a great film by any stretch, but it's a great story. I enjoy the film because of the interesting story, even though it's a bit cheesy.
Yeah.
And the other ones, I mean, oh, you're giving me this list here. Ones I would jump out at. Cujo, he's fantastic.
Great book, yeah, I've not seen the film.
Christine, I really love. That's about a killer car.
Yeah,
You can't get more insane than that, and it's a beautiful car as well. It's a caddy.
It's the Oldsmobile.
And it really captures the goofy edge of it. Yeah. Pet Sematary is brilliant. That kid is terrifying.
Big emissions, though.
But there's a lot of films here, to be fair. Yeah. So I'd definitely go those. And then there's Dolores Claiborne as well.
Yeah, I've not. I've missed that off.
Which was a good film. With Kathy Bates in again, playing a good role. But yeah, I think that's a good list. I mean, there's so many great ones there, and you've gone for some great in top five. But there's just with such a back catalogue. This is why I love top fives, because there's so many.
The list I've given you, the yellow is the books I've read, and the pink is the films I've seen, and I tried to cross-correlate it all, and it got all complicated. I know, right?
Green Mile, though, you should watch it.
I need to see Green Mile. I need to see The Mist as well. Freya said I need to watch The Mist because that's
interesting.
But it's a missed opportunity. But it was great to hear you passionate, and I want to hear other people's top five lists because I imagine they'll differ. But that's why I like top five. Subjective.
We're in.
We're in.
We've made it.
We have.
We're not telling you how.
And we're not telling you why. I know, well, you know why.
But we've done it. We're here, surrounded by amazing cosplayers. So,
let's meet some of them.
Let's go and do it. So we've been having a debate on the podcast at the minute. You're the person to answer. Man of Steel kind of divided people. A lot of people sort of went, I didn't really like it, but couldn't explain why. What are your thoughts on Man of Steel?
I think the direction was right in some ways. They wanted more action, which is what they gave the people. But at the same time, it becomes almost like a computer game, you know, and there's so much CGI and so much action going on that you kind of get lost in it. And personally, Henry Cavill is a good Superman. He's a good replacement, but he won't ever replace Christopher Reeve. You know, he's the best. And I think that the problem is with comic books today is a lot of them are too dark in tone, and they've lost that lightness to them, which is what comic books are all about.
As a film on its own, I did like it. It was, I think it was too hyped. It's a good film in its own right, but I don't think it's the film that fans of the Superman franchise wanted, really. Maybe they'll better hopes for the upcoming, the Batman versus Superman.
I like the costume redesign because I was getting sick of the underpants. But from the looks of it, it looks to be a bit too Nolan Northy, really, because I didn't like Nolan North's Batman, and it looks a bit too grungy realistic.
Okay.
I liked about 3.5 minutes of it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there was a nice scene in it, but it bored me.
Right. Okay.
So I'm a big Superman fan, and I was really looking forward to it, and I was a bit, So no, it doesn't get. I bought it, so I still support the franchise, but it wasn't my favourite.
We've been playing like old games from the 90s on YouTube. I just wondered what if you have any suggestions of stuff that you might remember that you enjoyed. We played an Avengers one badly, but we're looking for some more
90s games. Well, the Super Mario games were probably Super Mario All Stars. I played them all, and I used to spend hours playing them. And it was sort of the only game where you literally, a lot of games back then, you had like 4 or 5 levels, but they were like super hard, and it would take you forever to complete one level, let alone all of them. So it was Super Mario. You could be a bit more leisurely with it, you know, and it's good fun.
Oh, it's all about Super Mario if we're talking retro games, yeah.
I was going to say Pac-Man, but whatever.
Retro games?
Yeah.
Is that like Echo the Dolphin?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah, I love that game.
It's got a bit of Pac-Man in there as well.
That's the second Pac-Man.
We were playing that awful wrestling WWF Game Boy.
Like the home party one, whatever it was,
and stuff.
There's a lot of wrestling games that are really bad but really fun.
So we were playing that.
Yeah.
So we wanted to play something.
Yeah, but I'm always a sucker for like PlayStation games. PlayStation 1, like the classics like Spyro or ones like Hercules or Medieval, stuff like that. Really classic ones that everyone kind of knows. They're really nice to play.
The X-Men arcade game, definitely. Beat 'em up style arcade game where you can just play pretty much all of the X-Men. The re-release on Xbox Live and PSN, I think it was released on PSN, can support up to 8 players, which is just insane.
Out of the realm of the board and into the screen, we've been playing like retro video games on YouTube. And just been asking people if they had any suggestions of ones that they used to enjoy.
I really like Galaxians. That's a game I spent a lot of hours as a youth playing. You tend to because I'm old enough to remember when they started, and there was a thing, you found a game that you were good at, and then that was the one you played more often, and then because of that you were on it for hours and hours. So yeah, I could spend like a lot of time for very few pennies on Galaxian, so that became my favourite. And R-Type, if you know that one, that's a side-scrolling, yeah. Another one that once you get the hang of it, you can spend a lot of time for very few coins.
So here we are on our way back after a momentous day at the Yorkshire Cosplay Con 7. How have you found it?
I found it busy at first, but then it was good. No, yeah, it was a really good day. Got to see some great cosplay and a bit of a mooch around the shops. It's never a bad thing. Feet hurt though.
Yeah, definitely achy feet. But met some lovely people. It's been great. Yep. Look forward to going back in August.
Yeah, if I'm let out of the old dungeon.
That's true. I don't know.
Back up. Yeah. Send me back to you two where I belong.
Is Scott allowed to come this time? Ooh.
I don't know.
Meeting people.
Let's see if he eats his vegetables.
It's the end of the show.
Oh.
And we're missing Scott. We lost him at some point during the screening last night. He ran off. We let him off the lead to have a sniff around, and he ran off.
It's gone.
Gone
away.
So it's just us seeing. So hopefully he'll be back for next week.
I didn't want to meet people.
I had a really weird dream last night.
Oh.
We were sat around podcasting, but you'd brought Jen and the ginger-haired guy from Tesco with you. And I was like, why have you done this? And you were just not answering and shrugging and being really like petulant. And I was like, right, so we all sat down to record and you refused to speak. So I got really annoyed at you.
Oh, so, God.
Get your act together, Steve.
Okay, sort it out. Sort it out, Dream Steve. God.
It was really weird. And I was really annoyed. This morning I woke up and I was really annoyed with you. And I was like, but that didn't happen. Don't be annoyed at Steve. I thought, because I didn't do it last week and I normally do it.
Okay.
I do my 3-word reviews from the last lot that I watched.
Yep.
Which will link nicely into what I assume starts the shout out bit. So I thought I'd read mine out.
Go for it.
So what I picked from, I think I recommended The Voices,
yeah.
Which I 3-word reviewed. Almost Brilliant Murdering, 7 out of 10.
Nice.
And I decommended Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, and Cradle of Crap, 4 out of 10.
Cradle of Crap.
So the other ones were Les Miserables.
Okay.
Impressive Period Musical, 9 out of 10.
Alright.
Followed by Sweeney Todd. Gothic Period Musical, 7 out of 10. Then I watched Salt. Seem to have an Angelina Jolie thing going on a little bit. Salt, moronic political actioner, 6 out of 10. It's really a bit naff, really. It tries to get this kind of espionage kind of political Russian thingy going, but it's almost like if it was a drama-y kind of action, then it would work. But it's like we've got this kind of interesting plot, but we'd rather just have a breakneck action film.
Yeah,
it's very akin to like your Takens and.
Okay, just sort of switch off.
You've just got to go with it.
Right.
22 Jump Street. Channing Hill Rafflecopter.
Brilliant film.
Consistent. I'd say
Yeah,
the first one.
yeah, definitely.
Chappie, which we saw. RoboCop with Heart, 7 out of 10.
I still need to watch that.
Which got recommended last week.
Yeah.
Phenomena, which is the phenomenon, should I say?
It still works.
Phenomena is the Argentine one. Phenomenon is the one with.
It's not the John Travolta one.
John Travolta one
from years ago.
Yeah, where he gets magical powers.
Yeah.
And then it turns out, and my 3-word review is, it's a tumour. So you have all this amazing. Oh, he's getting superpowers. He's got telekinesis. He can work things out. He's going to be a superhero. No, he's going to die.
Got a tumour. Yeah. I remember seeing that in the cinema.
And it was like, oh god.
Depressing.
6 out of 10. I quite enjoyed watching John Travolta running around with his stupid massive face.
Was it an early 90s romp?
Yeah, it's terrible. It really is terrible. But I enjoyed it enough. Sunday afternoon viewing.
Okay.
And finally, Iron Man 2, not too bad, 7 out of 10, because it always seems to be at the bottom of the stack with the Marvel films.
Yeah,
but actually you watch it and you go, actually it's not that bad. So it's still probably near the bottom of the stack. It's not as bad as Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, Thor 2's at the bottom of my stack.
But it's pretty. It's very watchable.
Okay.
Actually, a lot more watchable than I remember. But you can tell where it suffers. It doesn't quite have the narrative flow that the other ones does. It's a little bit chunky.
Yeah.
But it works. It definitely works.
I started watching 3 the other day and then realised I should wait if we're going to do the marathon before the Avengers.
It's only a few weeks ago. I don't think we're going to have time to do the marathon, so get it watched.
Okay.
So I want to hear your views on that.
All right, yeah. I was 20 minutes in and then thought, I'm not in the mood for this.
What time is it, Steve?
It's time for This Week, The Geeks Have Spoken. Thank you, as always, for all your tweets, interactions, 3-word reviews, and whatnot. Greatly appreciate them. And keep them coming in. We'll start, as ever, with, nicely following on, the 3-word reviews. And Pete Bushbauer, the king of 3-word reviews at Popular Outcasts. And I realised last week I said who's on a quest to watch 365 days. Whoops. I meant films.
So you're being your own pedant.
He's
there.
watching 365 days. No, he isn't, Steve.
It must be pedant mania.
Yes, it is. Hashtag WGS pedantry. So yeah, he's trying to watch 365 films before the year is out. He's well on track at the minute. I've got him down for August to finish, if the maths is correct at the minute, but who knows? Good luck, Pete. The ones I've chosen: Killer Legends, Urban Legend Investigation, 6 out of 10.
It was October last time. How's he?
Oh, October. I've voted August. I want him to be August.
Yeah,
subliminal.
He's trying to sway it. He's just going to say, "I won."
Go to more film festivals.
Go on. Sorry. Start again.
Killer Legends, Urban Legend Investigation, 6 out of 10.
Was that a documentary?
It sounds like it. I should look these up. Wolf Cop, awful and awesome, 7 out of 10.
I pretty much agree with that. It's trash, but the best kind of trash.
Yeah. Furious 7, which I'm desperate to see. Needs more rock, 7 out of 10. I've heard that a lot of the audience going to see this isn't your sort of average blockbuster audience. It's drawn in a lot of people. It's doing really, really well by all accounts. So I'm a big fan anyway, but
then what puts me off more is, do I have to sit through 6 films to actually go and see this one?
There's Vin Diesel's done a video online that I found yesterday, I've not watched yet, that links all 6. So I just watched that. Apparently it shows you how all the films link. It's like the backstory behind it all. So watch that and then go and watch 7, I'd say. Starry Eyes, David Lynch-esque horror, 7 out of 10.
Starry Eyes is one that I wasn't overly keen off when I saw it, but it's growing with me and I need to see it again because I like a lot of the themes in there, and I think it was one of the better ones on the night retrospectively. I'd love to see it again.
I need to watch it again.
Make sure I do.
Definitely, because it blew me away. It was one of my favourites, wasn't it? But I'd still, like you say, it stuck with me. I think it's available online to watch.
It is on American Netflix, I believe, at the moment. Should be with UK soon.
Yes. And finally, Moon, Sam Rockwell's brilliant, 8 out of 10. Thoroughly agree.
It's a very good
cracking
film.
Yeah.
Amazing film.
Really enjoyed it. So thank you for those, Pete, and good luck on your quest. Freya at Run Roller Run. The Buff, silly girly fun times. 7.5 out of 10.
It's called The Duff.
Oh yeah.
Not The Buff.
I'm reading my writing wrong. Damn, I got one
It's
thing.
not about a bunch of teenage girls in the buff. It's about the Duff. I want to see it, actually. There's something, you know, that little girly side of me that likes Katy Perry movies.
Yeah.
That's screaming at me to go and watch it.
Yeah.
Should we go watch it?
Yeah, let's do it. We went to the Yorkshire Cosplay Con, so at York's Cosplay Con. Thanks to @Tarninial, Dan Moat, for coming with me. Had a good day out, spoke to lots of lovely people. Nick and Caroline at MinifigsMe make custom Lego, check them out. Thank you again for the tickets, guys. It was brilliant. Saviours. At the MASP, not the MASP, and at Betty_horror were there. They tweeted us, and Betty Horror was selling girly things, and the MASP was just here for the sex appeal to draw in the customers. Sadly didn't draw us in because we didn't see him. At Patriot Games Limited, game shop in Sheffield, check them out. It was lovely to
Brilliant.
speak to those.
Down on the Wicker just across the bridge. If you're into your gaming, they're always, when I see them at the con, they're one of the best stores for the gaming there. They're really good, and I've always wanted to get a bit more into gaming. In fact, I played a card game the other day called Settlers of Catan, which initially I thought would be incredibly boring, but actually got really into it. And like, you've got to build it. It's kind of like Age of Empires in a card game form, and you're basically just building a settlement and making sure you get the most points and things.
Is it the one where you put your piece, the villager on the path to block them? And
no, it's purely a card game.
Oh, it's
a card game. So you just basically, you draw cards which are like sheep, hay, bricks, wood, and you've got to get an ore, and you've got to use a combination of those cards to buy something like a village or upgrade your village to a city, and they each have like points on. So if you've got to try and get 10 of these points. However, the other people in the settlers, if they decide to buy a knight, but the knights have run out on the knight deck, they get it from the next person around, so they steal your knight, or they can sabotage things, and it gets really into it.
Nice.
And initially I just thought, this looks so boring, but then actually you're into it, and it works. It really works. So yeah, check out Settlers of Catan.
Nice. I'm looking forward to getting the Exploding Kittens game from the Oatmeal. Can't wait for that. June, I believe it's due. That's good stuff. Very exciting card game. So Patriot Games, thanks again for the interview which you heard. And at Aaron Lewis Price as Zod, which you'll have heard. Fantastic. Great. Check him out. It's got a con coming up in November. In response to the new podcast, Rebecca Bex at Arbitrary Genius was saving it to work at 2 AM. Meh, hate working Saturdays, but I'm off Sunday, so can't complain. Which leads me nicely into people listening to the podcast. Trying to start a new competition. Hashtag WGS Selfie. Take a photo of yourself listening to the podcast. Send us your pictures. How do you listen? Where do you listen? Send us you enjoying our podcast, and we'll pick the best ones and have a competition. We haven't thought of the prizes yet, but they'll be good.
This is a Steve idea. We're letting him go with it.
They are.
See how it goes.
So let's make it work, people. Luke Pietnik also said, thanks, can't wait to listen. It better not be about my emotional bus journeys again in the shout out. I look forward to having my spirit crushed. I hope you didn't.
Always.
Yeah, hope you didn't. In response to Man of Steel, Arbitrary Genius, the only film I've liked Russell Crowe in. Enjoyed the film, to be honest, and I'm a Marvel girl.
Do have a response from Tom. From the Anywhere But Here, the @ABH pod. He sent a good email about it. We will address it next week when Scott's here, because I think he's the one who is better to fight the corner of Man of Steel. I just wanted to say, great ABH pod, it's really great. I've been listening recently, and congratulations to Tom on his new job, and to Ant, who he's getting some good freelance work as well, so well done, guys. It's actually quite inspiring to listen to, because I know Tom has gone through a very similar thing that I'm going through, trying to get into jobs that you want to do. In fact, it's remarkably similar listening to him, so congratulations. And actually, you're quite inspiring to me, because it is depressing when you want to work in an area which is very hard to get into, and it feels relentless knockback. So it's nice to hear that it is achievable, and I will continue to forge ahead. So yeah, check them out, ABH pod.
Rex Everything at Rex Everything 3 linked us to the horror convention in July at HorrorCon UK. That sounds pretty cool.
We'll
hopefully we'll be
definitely go to
represented.
that,
If you're going, let us know. Luke Pietnik at Luke Pietnik said, I'm going to program a screening evening for Weekly Geek Speak, a double bill of 60s films, Thunderbirds I'll go and Thunderbird 6. Eh, lads?
Thunderbird films. I'd watch them.
Not a fan.
What, of even of the old ones?
Not really.
No?
It never really... No.
Any of them, like Stingray?
No.
Captain Scarlet?
No.
But they look amazing.
No.
The little models and sets and... Why didn't you like
it? I don't know. Just never really got into it.
There's not enough colours flashing around.
Yeah.
They're little puppets flying spaceships.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Move on.
Moving on. Simon Robertson at Say Yeah Flash. Stan Lee, we tweeted, Stan Lee is creating Lucky Man, a UK superhero featuring James Nesbitt.
Lucky Man?
Yeah, apparently he's called Lucky Man, and he's Stan Lee was like, what would somebody who had the powers to be really lucky all the time? So that sounds interesting. And Say Yeah Flash has put, what would his powers be? The inability to act. Not sure what use that would be to save someone.
You could have him coupled up with like Yes Man.
Yeah, Lucky Man. Oh my god, the best super team ever. Stan Lee, if you're listening. In response to Deadpool being R-rated, Thomas Austin Morgan at Hey It's Me Tom. Ooh, interesting. And then Dave at Wilbro Jr. 36. Can't imagine it any other way. At Hey It's Me Tom. It could still work, but the gore would be the problem, especially having read the original script.
Yeah, I'm sure we will be talking this more next week in the news. But the announcement, the great video on April Fool's Day of Ryan Reynolds announcing that it would be R-rated, I think a lot of fans breathed a huge sigh of relief when that was announced.
Yeah, definitely.
But more on that next week.
Yeah, there was also the one on April Fool's Day, if you saw it, with your T-shirt. Miley Cyrus was going to be cast as Tank Girl in a remake, and actually,
I don't think it would go down well.
It wouldn't go down well, but maybe it would be one of those completely sideswiped. Okay, that works, but. It was actually announcing that there is going to be a sequel.
That's cool.
They retracted and went, yeah, she's not, but by the way, we are doing a sequel.
Tank Girl will be screened at the Weekly Geek Speak screening next month. Should be on the 5th of May, but that may change.
Never know. Mike at Mike Fathers, there's going to be a Star Trek Green Lantern crossover this July and linked us to the comic. That looked pretty cool.
I can see that working.
Yeah, looked good, so thank you for that. And... Luke Pietnik again, just because I really like this. Top Geek with the 3 hosts of Weekly Geek Speaks. This needs to happen. The BBC will buy it in a shop. We just need an old warehouse. I'm up for that.
Yeah, but it didn't work out well for me because you were Richard Hammond, which I can see because every time I watch Top Gear, then you are Richard Hammond. I think he cited Scott as James May, and that leaves me as Jeremy Clarkson.
Okay.
So I'm the big obnoxious one in the corner who actually, wait a minute.
Oh.
Move on.
Moving on. And lastly, Jen at J Tidders. I've always used Waz as synonymous with we. For example, in the pub. I'm just off for a quick Waz. Get the next round in, yeah?
And thanks to Jen as well for taking the photographs at the screening last night, and also she has written a blog for the website for Still Lifes, which is released on DVD on the 13th of April. Do check that out.
Check it out.
Great review, great film by the sounds of it.
Yeah, sounds really good.
But yeah, thank you very much for all your interactions. We've got some more 3-word reviews to do.
Indeed.
Basically, we asked at the screening last night, which went really well.
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
Good.
It was an interesting film. We were talking Mario, Super Mario Brothers movie in 2 weeks' time on the podcast, so do tune in for that. But we thought we'd get the people there to 3-word review it on the night, so we've got a box with a lot of responses in there, and we're just going to pick 5 at random and shout you out. So I'll go first. This is 3-word review. Goomba Goomba Goomba. 7 out of 10 at heathen_specs. So thank you. Yeah. The Goombas were weird.
Yeah.
The little heads. They were the.
Yeah, with the tiny little dinosaur heads.
I didn't know how I felt about those.
No.
Freaked me out a little bit.
Thank you for that. 3-word review. I love Leguizamo. 6.5 out of 10. The Eventpera. Run, roller, run.
Run, roller, run.
I finally got it in there. The Eventpera. Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot to say it last time.
I can
and
never
thank
say
you for
his
all your
name.
help with the screening.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Kindly. Go on, your turn.
3-word review. Super Mario Brothers. 10 out of 10 from the Pitkin.
Yay. Oh, this one's all screwed up. 3-word review. Oh,
Leguizamo is hot. 4 out of 10.
A lot of Leguizamo fans out there.
Sarah Henderson at Henderpops. Thank you for that one.
He comes across a little like he has learning difficulties in that film. I know he's supposed to be cool, but when he's running around with an oversized cap on, and dungarees, he looks like he's just been released.
He does look a little bit manic.
Finally, 3-word review: odd dinosaur-esque mushroomy. 34 out of 10. Kirsty.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I'd go with odd. Mushroomy, and there was a lot of dinosaurs in there, which seemed to be like, oh, Jurassic Park's going to do well this year. Let's
put some dinosaurs in. Yeah, seeing Yoshi as a dinosaur.
We'll sort through those and pick the best of the rest for next week. But thank you very much for the screening. Please do come along to our next one. At the moment, it is on the 5th of May. It will be Tank Girl. We'll keep you updated with that. I want to thank Andy and Gareth and the Green Room for letting us show the film there. I want to mention Paul Johnson, O-Ticking 77077. He did the TIE Fighter film. You might have seen it on Facebook. It was amazing.
Yeah.
TIE Fighters come meet.
Brilliant.
It's Star Wars meets Macross, basically. If you like your 80s anime, really cool video. We will tweet it out this week as well. Huge thank you again to Freya and Roller Run for organising it. And thank you to everyone who came. I can announce that, talking to people, the winner of the Emma Stone versus Ellen Page clash did come out as Emma Stone. We were going to record, but I forgot.
Fair enough.
And also, do check out our YouTube channel. Dan and Scott have been beavering away on there, and there's some really good videos on there. They've both played Captain America and the Avengers, which is the 1990s game. It's really funny. They're making comments on how the characters look and
Derpy Iron Man.
Derpy Iron Man and the bra model and things. It's very funny. Check that one out. Earlier this week, it was released that they did Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is hilarious. It's a scary game, really simple game.
I've heard lots about it.
Got to basically there's 3 animatronic animals, and you're in this old children's restaurant or amusement park thing. With like those horrible animatronics that sing and stuff. So you're a security guard, and basically you've got your security monitor and a torch and a mask. And you've got to sit in the security room making sure a music box is wound up so a clown doesn't get you. Keeping an eye on the screens, and then all of a sudden, like, one of the animatronic things is gone, and then you see it on a different camera staring at you. And basically you've got to stay, when they appear in your doorway, you've got to hide in your mask so they think you're one of them. But you've got to keep the music box wound up, and you've got to keep your eye on everything.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
And then there's more and more as you go on, because you've got to spend 5 nights, so more and more weird things happening, and there's like the wandering fox and things, and it gets pretty terrifying. It's really funny, Scott and Dan.
Nice, I'll have to
being
check that
very, very composed.
Okay.
Yes, not at all. And I know that they will be playing, should be out shortly, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game also from the 90s, which is another beat 'em up kind of Streets of Rage kind of thing, and it's really awesome.
Not
it's
the
really
strange sex toy one yet, then.
Not yet. You'll wait till I'm not sure feel about that, but check that out. Well, thanks once again to the Yorkshire Cosplay Con.
Thank you kindly.
And next week we're more recommend, decommend, more 3-word reviews, and I'll end with this little thing. I was putting the washing out earlier, and I just got this new shampoo, and you know how it smells sometimes. Bring back a memory.
And it's that
Vossine or whatever it's called. And it's got a very strong smell.
Yeah, it's almost medicinal.
Yeah. So I was washing that. I was putting the washing out, and I caught a whiff, and it reminded me of my first date with a girl, and from my first proper girlfriend. First date, we went out and we were kissing. I always remember that smell and the fact that she tasted a little of egg when I kissed. Great. Anyway, I just remembered something that made me laugh, because I said to her, we were sat in the park and we were kissing and that, and then I was telling her about movies, and I haven't changed much. I was waffling on about movies, and I was telling her about Starship Troopers, and she's like, I've never seen it. I was like, you've got to watch this. My parents are out. Come back to my house. We'll watch Starship Troopers. And she might be, oh god, I'm gonna be a quick bit, you know.
Nice.
So we went back and we went back and we were alone on the sofa, and we watched Starship Troopers.
And
it didn't even twig until now that I was like, that could have been a good opportunity to extend our relationship, but no. Now we watch. I don't want interrupting in Starship. Shut up!
My parents aren't
Be
in.
quiet.
Come on.
My parents are in. We're watching Starship Troopers.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So now I've got a craving to watch Starship Troopers and have an egg mayonnaise sandwich.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week.
Thank you kindly. Cat bum mouth.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Oh, cat bum mouth.